Hello, amazing people. Yasha is here, and yep, another topic when it comes to my account, or channel, So the story is kind of like this. Um, I am working and scrolling on my, on YouTube on my phone, and I see this post from Asian boss. So when it comes to my phone, folks, I am not doing some gooning. I'm not doing some, games, or I should say, animes, because that's my content here on YouTube. But I am kind of like more on astronomy, uh, economy, kind of like that. You're like political thing, because I am old, But yeah, I really curious on this because here, why the Philippines birth rate is crashing faster than Japan. And my first impression on this is here in Japan, since I'm living here in Japan, I knew that the birth rate is literally going downhill. And the Philippines or Filipinos that living here in Japan, not only that, the Filipinos that are living in the Philippines are saying that, yo, Japan birth rate is downhill, kind of like that, and blah blah blah. They need to repopulate. They need to send their Japanese woman to the others. Like share some gift. Kind of like that. They said something like that, and I feel like there's some information that never ever saw when it comes to this part. Because when I saw this one, I literally shocked, and I feel like I need to react on this one because I'm a Filipino and I am Japanese too. But that being said, I want to react on this one, and I'm gonna post this on maybe on Facebook so that people will gonna get curious about this because this is a huge fact. And I saw a Asian boss post before. I think it's literally a true like literally true content. I mean, no like bias, no lies, no cap, kind of like that. But yeah, I'm so curious because if Japan is going downhill, Philippines are is, to me, it's going like literally fall on the cliff. But man, it's so hard, man, to see Philippines like that because Japan, even though it's the birth rate is so bad, it's still prosperous. Like I can literally buy, for example, on my monthly, I can literally buy a, or maybe I should say, buy a TV, refrigerator, aircon. Just pick one. I can buy all, but just pick one. I can buy it on 1 month, plus the apartment, eat. I can buy like that. On Philippines, you are not buying that. Not only that, politics is worse. The nature, when it comes to the cities, worse. Crime rate, man. That's why I don't want to live in the Philippines. I don't want my kid to suffer. If kind of like they are hearing that you're kind of like that, you're from Japan like that. You are you have, that's the meaning. But man, that's the most I scare. If I was gonna go to the Philippines, because it's 100% worse than Japan. That's why I'm doing a living here. Even though it's hard. It's hard. No hard on this era. It's all hard. Wherever you go, wherever side of the or side of the world goes, it's all hard. Australia, US, Canada, Middle East, Europe, all hard. The economy is literally hard right now. That's why Philippines, there are worse of all of that, and the icing of the cake is this one, you know. So let's cut all these yapping right now. Let's jump to the video. And folks, I am a small channel. If you have something to add, subscribe. It's just a little click right there. And if you have a topic, you know, or you want some I should say you want to tell or comment on this topic, comment on Asian Boss channel, and also to my channel too, if you want to hear or if you want some discussions on this, because this is a big deal. So if you're gonna ask me, like, then it's an easy issue, you know, just do some banging, you know, like, done, you know. But still, the gap is still there. It's I should say that it's so bad that it's so hard to fix. But on the Philippine side, man, I think it's impossible to fix right now, because even though they are if we were gonna, like, for example, want to have a lot of babies like that, you know, for me, the economy is so bad, man. That's why I feel like the people on the Philippines doesn't want to have a lot of babies, you know. But Chep, where's the keyboard warriors, man? Where's the gunners on the Philippines, man? I want to hear a lot from you all, you know, because this is a huge deal. So let's go. Oh, hell no.
The birth rate in the Philippines isn't just declining, it's falling off a cliff.
Well, what I said!
Surprising, because normally that kind of headline is reserved for countries like South Korea or Japan.
Yeah.
You gotta learn. Honestly, before I started researching this topic, I assumed the Philippines was doing just fine. Because
not just fine, but literally they are bragging on the comment section like, Philippines, we can do like 10 or many, like blah blah blah, you know. But what's going on right now?
think about what the Philippines is known for globally. A country so Catholic, it's one of only 2 places on earth where divorce is still completely illegal.
True. That's true. Sir, you're doing a good research, sir. That's so true, man. I feel like the religion, Catholic, or I should say religion as a whole, not just Catholic, but Christian as a whole, because I think 95%, I feel like 95% or 90% of the Filipinos are Christians or Catholic. We can include INC, born again, Jehovah's Witness, etc., etc. We can include all of that on that category, and the 10% is kind of like the Muslims, you know. But that being said, man, there's no divorce because you know, if for example the Senate we're gonna do something like that or pass something like that on the higher ups, literally the Catholic had that, or the religion has that power to contradict that, and there's a lot of you know, rebut, or should I say flip-top battle when it comes that happens off screen to that, like for example the rallies, you know, the news. There's a lot of, you know, that people are talking like, no, we don't need that, no, we need that, you know, kind of like, etc., etc. But that being said, it served a purpose on why the birth rate is falling on the cliff right now, you know. But yeah, man, I am a Filipino, man, but most of my life I live here in Japan, but it's still, it's so hurt to hear that we are doing worse, like literally, you know.
One of the highest teenage pregnancy rates in all of Asia. Sex tourism, unfortunately. A young, fast-growing population,
Yeah.
demographers were actually counting on to be one of Southeast Asia's great economic engines for the next 30 years. That was supposed to be the story. That
Yeah.
was the assumption.
And Philippines are a third world country too, you know, because when we're here in Japan, true, for me, they are taking a lot of talents when it comes to Europe. They want that professionalism, not only that a first world country professionals, but man, it's so hard to get a professional people coming from the West. That's why they are taking a lot of people on the third world, like Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand. They're taking a lot of that, you know. And yo, I can literally say to myself that I came from the third world country, you know. But man, I want to do better than myself, you know, so that I can have a lot of privilege with my family, with my you know, when it comes to my own perspective. But it's so hard. This is so hard to watch, man.
But here's the number that might make you think twice. As you know, the replacement rate is 2.1, meaning you need at least 2.1 babies per woman to
I have 2 kids, by the way.
keep the current population where it's at. Well, as of 2026, the average Filipino woman is having 1.7 children in her lifetime. But before you go, yeah, but why are you talking about the Philippines when Japan's birth rate is way lower at like 1.2 and South Korea has completely fallen off the cliff at 0.8?
God damn it! South Korea 0.8? What the fuck? Yo, South Korea is a critical endanger right now, you know. I feel like Korea and Japan are kind of like head to head. But, man. What? But the worst is Philippines, you know. Why? Because I feel like this 1.7 right here is not the tip of the iceberg, you know. What I mean is that 1.7 is there's no salvation for that, because on how the Philippines works, South Korea and Japan, they are not third world countries, right? Philippines is a third world countries, and the poverty, the politics, etc., that I said is there. If they think that they don't want to make babies or make their population growth, it's because of this economy thing, you know. That's why they think it's not, because it's hard to live a life right now. And I think most of the people right now, like literally, they are kind of like individualists. Like for example, Western side, we are taking a note a lot when it comes to the Western style, Koreans, you know, as a Filipino, you know. That's why we're taking notes and we adapt that note as a Filipino. That's why we're taking like the empower is from ourselves. That's why we want to you know, we want to empower ourselves to become better. But we forgot the family, man. We forgot to build a family like that, because we feel like if we were gonna build a family, our careers are end, you know.
Actually, South Korea's rate has slightly recovered since hitting rock bottom.
Oh really?
It still hasn't crossed back above 1. That's a whole other topic. The reason we need to listen to what's happening in the Philippines is the speed at which the birth rate is falling.
Oh
Just over 30
shit,
years
man.
ago, in 1993,
Gen Z,
the
man,
average Filipino
you're not
woman
doing
had
anything, yo.
3.1 children in a lifetime. Even as recently as 1998, it was still 3.9, which was slightly concerning but not super.
Are we gonna post? Okay, this is true. My grandmother, my late grandmother, or grandparents, or my late mother, you know, they are a siblings of not 5, not 6, but 10 siblings. 10 siblings, you know, that's nuts. And when my late mother is married on my father, we're just 4. 4. It downs from 10 to 4. Now for me, so since the this era is so hard to like literally live right now, I have 2. I want to do more to to help Japan from the economy, but That's all I can do. I will not gonna add more, you know. It's so hard, man, but maybe I will gonna get rich, you know. But man, it's so hard to add, but that's my max, and that's I think I get all of things right. Like I have a girl, I have a boy, a son and daughter, you know. I think I'm done with it.
But then what happened? Boom, it crashed to 2.7 by 2017, and then 1.7 by 2025.
I am sweating right now. I need to turn on my aircon, man. Like literally, you know. Man, this is, oh my god, man.
37% collapse in under a decade, and the sharpest rate of decline the Philippines has ever recorded, and one of the fastest declines anywhere in the world. Certainly a hell of a lot faster than anyone predicted for a country starting from such a high baseline.
Folks,
So it's fair to
I
say
feel like
that
this.
something didn't gradually shift.
Sorry for a lot of posts, by the way. I feel like this sir that's talking to us in front of us right now. I think this article right here doesn't goes up on the news on the Philippines, you know, because I think this right here is just a private research, you know. I feel like the stats or the statistics when it comes to the Philippines, they don't know about this one. That's why people are bragging on the comment section, on the internet, on the social media, especially Facebook, you know, they're bragging like, yo, we are not doing like Japan. We can make 10 babies, whatever we want. Oh my god, man, my head's so hurt right now, you know.
There's a viral meme on Philippine social media among Gen Z Filipinos
Okay.
that most of the outside world has probably never heard of. It's called NBSB,
What the fuck?
which stands for No Boyfriend Since Birth. There's also the male equivalent, which is NGSB, or No Girlfriend Since Birth. Before you start equating this to some feminist movement in the West, I can tell you there are so many cultural and socio-economic factors at play here that are unique to the Philippines. But by the end of this video, you'll find that the parallels to your own society are harder to ignore than you think. And if you're someone who's still under the impression, thanks to the mainstream media-driven narrative, that the world's biggest problem is overpopulation.
Here we go. Here we go.
People, well, the data's telling a very different story. This is not just a Filipino issue. It's happening on a global scale, and you're about to find out why.
Yep, this is what I said, yo. I said that, yo, this is not just happening on the Japan, South Korea, Philippines, but it's literally happening on Australia, Middle East, like Canada, America. Like, this is kind of an economic world problem right now, you know. And I feel like on the next 200 or 300 years, I feel like we will gonna get maybe I should say not extinct, but you know, critically endangered, you know. We became a species of animals right now, you know.
Before we dive in,
But that being said, I will gonna comment on that no boyfriend since birth, because yo, sir, you are doing a great job to get all of this information right now, you know. But man, I think it goes to I think on my era, like 20s. I feel like it reached on my ear before, you know, back in the Philippines, you know. I feel like that no boyfriend is since birth. It's kind of like a tagline or kind of like a flex, you know, such as myself, you know. For example, I am a people or Filipino person, like walking walking like a commoner, kind of like that, you know. We have a social media, like for example Facebook, and we're gonna post like no boyfriend since birth, because it's kind of like flex in a sense, but also people are gonna know that, oh, this dude doesn't have that, you know, romantic relationship to others. That's why it feels like it kind of like a flex at that time, you know. But I never ever think that it will gonna have a huge impact right now, so that the Filipinos or Philippine population as a whole declines like this, you know.
I often get asked how we are able to do such deep research across so many Asian countries. And honestly, it takes a lot more than just Googling things or asking AI tools like ChatGPT. Sometimes you need to travel, speak with locals directly, and understand the real context on the ground. And whenever I travel for research, one tool I always use is CyberGhost VPN. The
Okay.
sponsor of today's video.
Sponsor.
CyberGhost
Okay,
encrypts
sir.
100%
You
of
provide me
internet
a lot
traffic and
of
reroutes it to a secure service in over 100
info.
locations.
Not only that,
Means
news
no one,
to
not
me.
even CyberGhost
I will gonna
themselves,
read this one.
can see what you're
I'm not
doing.
gonna skip.
This becomes especially important when you're on public Wi-Fi in airports, cafes, or hotels. Some of
Yeah,
the
Filipinos
easiest
think
places
that
for your data to get
they are
infected. But with
overpopulated like
CyberGhost
India, you
turned
know.
on, everything you do is protected inside a
But
secure,
what's happening right
encrypted
now
tunnel.
is a
CyberGhost is
backlash, you
already
know,
trusted
like
by
literally
more than
opposite.
38 million users worldwide.
Which is, it hurts
And
me a lot,
thousands
you
of
know.
excellent reviews on Trustpilot.
I feel like on the
Another
next
reason I
100
use it all
years,
the time is flexibility.
Philippines are doomed.
Since our research
We
often
even have
involves
that
accessing
catastrophe, you
local
know.
news sites,
Philippines are huge when it comes to
region
catastrophe
specific
like
content across
tsunamis,
India, CyberGhost lets me change my virtual
earthquakes,
locations instantly
typhoons.
in just a couple clicks. So even if content is
Man.
geo-restricted in the country I'm currently in, I can still access the information I need. And as a bonus, CyberGhost also unlocks content from more than 40 streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus, with different libraries depending on the country you connect to. It works on all major devices and lets you protect up to 7 devices at the same time, which is super useful when traveling with multiple devices.
Okay, sir.
Right now, CyberGhost is offering our
I
viewers
feel like it's a
84%
long,
plus
long
4
ad, you know.
extra months for free, all backed by a 45-day money-back guarantee. So you can try it completely risk-free. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get the special offer and start protecting your online.
I will gonna try
accounts.
to post this on Facebook
let's
so
get back
that
into it.
people will gonna inform on this one, you know. The NBSB movement. Yo,
So,
I never
when
ever
one of
think,
our
I
Filipino
never ever
reporters first
think
told
that
me about
this
whole
will gonna get
NBSP
impact
phenomenon among
Philippines, you know.
Filipinos, my immediate reaction was one of confusion.
Me too.
No boyfriend or girlfriend since birth.
It's flex, sir. It's flex.
Are
It's
they
flex.
virgins who cannot find partners? Are they saying this with a sense of pride, like they're choosing to be single? Or
Yeah,
they
yeah,
want to
yeah.
get a boyfriend and
Yeah,
girlfriend,
that's
but they
that's
cannot?
right. That's right, sir.
Or does that mean
That's right.
they're just not
It's a
interested in
flex.
serious
It's a flex
relationships
before,
and getting married,
but when
they're
they,
fine with casual hookups?
it's kind of like flex, but for example, if that no boyfriend or girlfriend since birth goes up to 30 to 35 years old, it's kind of like too late to become a flex, right? Because as a 30s, it's so hard to get married on 30s, like literally, you know, because people are like loving like 20s age of people on the Philippines, you know. And if you really become a 30s out there, your shape is kind of like balloon, like literally, like they're eating unhealthy foods, you know. That's why me, if I'm kind of like almost 40 right now, but you cannot tell. But yeah, I'm not ballooning because you know I kind of like my diet is my diet when it comes to the food, not McDonald's, not McDonald's, but you know my diet is sustained, like literally. Yo, I feel like if I will gonna work hard, I feel like I want to eat hard, you know. And if I'm kind of like low key not causing energy, I will not eat more, you know. I will not eat less, you know. That's why I'm kind of like this, basic, you know. But all of the Filipinos, a lot that I saw, not all, but a lot that I saw, 20s, they're kind of like shaped like a Coca-Cola body, like most of the you know, most of the beautiful, prettiest, amazing people are from Filipinos, you know. But there's a but. They never ever think what's happening on their bodies. They eating a lot of unhealthy foods, you know, like a lot of oil, cholesterol, like that, you know. That's why, man, I feel like Philippines are doomed, man.
I had so many questions, including about its origins. Because the way I see it, understanding where NBSB came from might actually provide some clues as to how the Philippines was able to achieve one of the highest birth rates in the world.
I think, sir, this
At over 7 children
no
per
boyfriend
week
since birth
in the
and
early
no
1950s.
girlfriend since birth
Let's
is
also keep the focus specifically on the no
came from
boyfriend
the
since birth trend
internet
among young
when the
Filipino
internet
youth.
is booming in the
Because,
Philippines, you know.
honestly, that's where the more unexpected story is. I promise I will also address the male side, no girlfriend since birth, which is a little bit more predictable.
Yeah,
But
true.
I will get to that later and tie everything together. From our research, the NBSB movement dominating Filipino social media right now is really about intentional singlehood. That's the version going viral on TikTok and YouTube, where young Filipino women are proudly announcing that they are NBSB, not because they cannot find someone, but because they don't need to. That they are happily single, focused on self-love. And this isn't just a loud minority of women online either. A 2026 nationwide survey by a Philippine market
We do.
research firm
We do.
found that 68%
Why you flexing like that?
of single Filipinos describe themselves as single by choice. This is an interesting turn of events for the Philippines.
Sure.
Because as it turns out, the term no boyfriend since birth has been around for a while in Filipino popular culture, but used to mean something very different.
I will gonna try to not to post anymore, you know, because this video I think is so long. Maybe it will gonna go to my channel like 1 hour or so, you know, because there's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to this one. But Jeff, it's so hard to watch from me. Not only because I'm a Filipino, but I care, like literally care on what's happening around the world right now, you know.
You can trace its origin to the mid-2000s, where the term first appeared on Filipino internet forums.
Yeah.
Places like Pinoy Exchange.
I don't know this
which
one.
was basically the Reddit of the Philippines at the time.
Really?
Where Filipinos discussed everything from
The,
politics to
sir,
relationships.
you're doing your
And it started out
research,
with
man.
self-deprecating Filipino internet slang that young people used to describe themselves. Basically the Filipino version of Forever Alone. In fact, as recently as
But Plex.
2016, there was literally a Filipino movie that year called No Boyfriend Since Birth,
Oh, really?
starring two of the country's most popular actors.
What the
at
fuck's
time.
this? Carla
The plot is
Abellana,
about
right?
A 26-year-old woman desperately trying to escape her NBSP status by winning over a high
I don't know
school
the
crush,
dude, man.
because for her, getting married was the natural next step in life, and she wanted it to be with the person she had always loved.
And that's I said that I will not gonna post, but there's a lot of things that's happening right now, you know. Like that is true. And also I feel like there's some kind of like a concept when it comes to the religion that attach from that as well. Not only that, I don't care about the cities, you know, but in the province, if for example if that's your boyfriend, the parents are well both informed. Not only that, they were gonna get the bless, and boom, they're well together, you know. And yeah, that's it.
That's what NBSB meant in 2015. Not some proud statement of intent, just an incomplete chapter in life. So what's changed since then? To answer that, or at least recognize similar patterns, we actually have to go back much further than the mid-2000s.
Oh, really?
And when I say we have to go
Like
back,
like
I'm talking more than 460 years.
what the 460 years? Yo, that's pre Spanish colonial era, right? Right? Yes, sir. Yo, by the way, I am mind blown right now. Because, you know, I am more on like, when it comes to my elementary or high school days, I love Hekasi and Civica and Cultura, you know? Like history in English. And my score on that is around 95, 96. Not I flex, but you know, I'm saying that that's a fact, you know. True, there's a amazing technologies right now that they can get the pattern before, because there's a lost history when it comes to the Philippines, you know. Like this Datu, this Raha, you know, like the kind of like a little community back at that time. That is, you know, it's not a monarch, by the way, you know, but that's they have the territorial thing when it comes back at that time. But yeah, I'm not so updated on that. That's why I want to hear more from this from you, sir.
Is twice as the age of the United States as a country in existence.
True,
That's
true,
so
that's true.
far back that the Spanish hadn't even arrived.
Oh,
in the
this is
Philippines yet.
okay. This is
Because
pre-Spanish,
remember, the Philippines was colonized by Spain from 1565 to 1898.
True, that's true too. I think that Philippines came from the Philippines like 1550s. That's the Battle of Mactan goes, and when they failed, they go back again, and that's the time they conquered.
So we're talking about the 1500s and earlier. At that point, the
But
Philippines
yeah,
wasn't
sir,
even a
okay.
unified country.
Tell to
It was a
me,
scattered
the
collection
Rahas,
of
right?
island
The
communities and tribal settlements.
Datus,
With a
right?
total population of somewhere around 1 million people spread across more than 7,000 islands. To put that in perspective, the Philippines today has 117 million people. That pre-colonial population was less than 1% of what it is now. And here's what I found rather fascinating about this period. Those early Filipinos actually had attitude towards relationships, sexuality, and family size that looked remarkably similar to what Gen Z Filipinos are gravitating toward today.
Oh, really?
Turns out the collection of Filipino island communities and tribes were led mostly by women who held significant social, moral, and spiritual authority.
Okay. Oh, fuck the odds, man. Okay. So I think he's talking about the Babaylands, when it comes to the Babaylan, it's the analogy. My analogy on Babaylan is the fuck this Albion online, man. My analogy of Babaylan is the Archbishop right now in the Philippines, because it's kind of like more on the religious thing, but the Babaylan has a supreme power that it's kind of like more on like superstitious, like if we're gonna do this, you're saved, like that, like literally the Archbishop right now on the Catholic or as a whole, because that's my that's the analogy that I can literally goes to head, but that being said, it's more of like a religion. That's why I'm not gonna put like Senate like that. That's why if Archbishop said like this, there's a word that you need to obey outside of that Archbishop or religious area. If they said something like this, we need to think and done like that.
There was this class of female spiritual leaders or shamans
Yeah.
called the Babaylan.
Yeah,
I believe
true.
I'm pronouncing it correctly, Babaylan, who were essentially the doctors, priests, and community leaders of their time. These women were basically equal in status to the tribal chiefs. The female leadership created
That's
more
true,
autonomy
that's
and
true.
agency for women in everyday life.
Equal to
Which
that too.
directly translated into an open attitude towards female sexuality.
They are the
and
shamans
birth
and
control
the
practices. Here are some examples. Being a
druids
virgin before marriage was actually
of
looked
the West.
down upon in pre-colonial Filipino society. There was even a belief that a woman who had never been with a man would have difficulty reaching the afterlife.
Oh, really?
That's how different the value system was. But the whole women's autonomy went well beyond attitude towards sex. According to the Boxer Codex, a late 16th century Spanish colonial manuscript that documented Filipino customs, abortion was practiced almost universally. It was carried out by female specialists using massage, herbal medicines, and a stick to physically force
What?
the pregnancy to end before birth.
What?
It gets worse.
Okay. So I feel like this should not include in the books right now, right? Because this is too censored, to discuss on the school. That's why they're not gonna get informed all of these things to school. because it's so gory. It's like you're watching anime like Made in Abyss, right? It's so gory, but yeah, I feel like if you want to know the history, it's more like you need like an 18 plus age to know this one. But Filipinos are kind of like not going like that. They some people doesn't want to learn after they go to school because they feel like they're too smart. but yeah, but yeah, we're not doing that, and I'm not posing because the girl is a naked, but you know what I mean.
Infanticide, which is the deliberate killing of a
But
baby
this is
that had already been
a
born
censored,
alive, was also commonly
all
practiced
censored
and socially
on school.
accepted in those
I never ever
communities.
knew this one
Now,
too.
The historic records don't go into graphic detail, but one documented method was simply abandoning newborns out in the wild to die, especially when they were deemed unfit by the family to raise. So if
Damn.
the baby was born with some defects, they were deemed unfit. But it's very subjective because in that era, a second or third baby could be deemed unfit because they were seen as a burden to the
That's
family's
true.
economic
That's
well-being.
true.
Again,
It's more like an
this wasn't a
hierarchy thing,
fringe
right?
practice. It was accepted by the community at large. I swear I'm not making this up. When the Spanish missionaries
You're doing
they were
you're doing
horrified by
consistently,
what they
sir.
witnessed and moved to eliminate those practices right away. Historians also back up this low
Damn, I'm
fertility
sweating right now,
regime
you know?
where the birth rate was deliberately controlled to somewhere around 3 children per woman, which was super low for the era. Of course, if you push me on that figure, it's not like anyone was running demographic surveys in the 1400s Philippines, but we can reasonably estimate or extrapolate the numbers based on the population size, life expectancy, and what we know about child mortality at the time. What's clear is that in pre-colonial Philippines, female autonomy and low birth rates went hand in hand because women could choose deliberate family limitation through abortion and infanticide without any social repercussions. That is, until the Spanish arrived. Here's a fun fact. The collection of islands were named Philippines in 1543 by a Spanish explorer who named 2 islands after Prince Philip of Spain.
Okay, I know this one. It's like this prince become the king, and the commonly known as King Philip II, and this dude, right? This dude right here is the one. No, he's not the one that named it as a Philippines, but it's kind of like a derived thing, like Philippines, like that, And I think,
Prince Philip
Never mind.
would later become King
Yeah.
Philip II
yeah,
and commissioned the colonization of the Philippines. So when Miguel Lopez de Legazpi
okay. This dude, I want to talk to this dude, but I feel like he will gonna include it here. But yeah, the governor, man.
a Spanish colonial official commissioned directly by King Philip II, arrived in Cebu in 1565. His 3 objectives were gold, God, and glory.
Gold.
He
God.
wanted to
Triple
expand
G.
the Spanish Empire.
He is the OG of the
trade
G's.
routes and resources for Spain, and he wanted to convert every Filipino to Catholicism. Accompanying him were the friars, members of Catholic religious
Yeah, they're
orders
doing-
who would go
they're
out
doing
into
literal like that,
communities to preach, convert, and operate schools and churches. Think of them like the ground troops of the Catholic Church. And in the Philippines, they became extraordinarily powerful. The friars controlled education and health, kept census and tax records, reported on the behavior of individual villagers to colonial authorities. So how do you think the Spanish perceived the Babaylans, the female tribe leaders, after witnessing the abortions and all the infanticide?
Oh,
The
they
Babaylans
do.
were referred to not as community leaders, but as monstrous feminine and devil worshippers for their rituals.
Oh yeah, true. Because on the Catholic teaching, I don't know on the rest. It's kind of like it's sacrilege to do something like that, and blasphemous at the same time, That's why we have that term like sacrilege and blasphemous, because it's kind of like you need to obey or worship one God, If we're gonna worship another God, it's a disrespect to our God, kind of like that, That's why they don't want that. Not only that, the Babaylan took it literally in the wrong way, like sabotaging or killing a lot of influx, like what the sir said. That's why, man, it's kind of like they need to they need to stop. But I think the Babaylan, as for today, still there. Like they kind of like they changed their name. Like for example, Mangkukulam, like that. Like for example, on the Visayas region, there's a lot. Like there's still a practice until this day, but it's kind of like more on like a kind of like maybe a family kind of like inheritance like that. But still there. It's not all gone.
Friars broke their sacred ritual instruments, dragged them through villages, and burned them publicly. Babaylans who refused to convert faced imprisonment, torture, and execution. Some were even impaled on stakes.
God damn it!
The Babaylans did fight back for another 2 centuries, but eventually the Spanish won.
Yeah.
Not by killing every last one of them, but by making the world around them so thoroughly Catholic that the world had nowhere left to stand. This wasn't all forced on the populace, by the way.
Yo, they even survived until this day, man.
Many Filipinos came to realize on their own that there was something fundamentally wrong with the pre-colonial practices like infanticide, again, killing babies, and they genuinely embraced the new faith.
But it's kind of like it dooms to happen because back at that time we are not that good when it comes to science and technology. That's why around that time, man, yeah, I think it's understandable in a sense, but man, even on the Spanish era, it's still not as high tech as today. That we know everything, and I'm not gonna say that they are worse than us, because we are like literally like falling when it comes to the population. But you know what I mean, when it comes to the science and technology thing, we are amazing right now. But that's why we have a past, because they are all memories that we need to get better, and it reminds us that this is what are we before. We need to get better, man.
So Catholicism didn't just arrive as oppression, it arrived as order, as a framework that, whatever its flaws, offers something that the old system didn't always provide: stability.
Yeah.
So what did that mean in practice?
So
Female virginity was instilled as a virtue for the first time. Abortion and killing babies were criminalized. Marriage became the only socially and legally acceptable context for sex and family creation. Children and large families were reframed not as a burden, but as a divine obligation. And out of this new Catholic world came the woman every Filipino girl was told to be. Her name was Maria Clara,
oh,
a fictional character from Jose Rizal's 1887 novel, Noli Me Tangere,
true.
the most important piece of Filipino literature ever written, which every
Yeah, true. No le matangere et al filibusterismo.
single Filipino student is required to read in school to this day.
I don't know, sir. I wasn't gonna read that, but we know all of that, but I don't read that.
Maria Clara is beautiful, chaste, deeply religious.
It's kind of like
and
a
devoted to
Mary
her family and the man she loved.
on the Bible,
She's essentially the Virgin Mary.
Well.
And for generations of Filipino women, she
Yeah.
was the standard.
Yeah,
In practice, this meant that
True.
a woman's virginity was her ultimate currency.
and that's why we have a lot of beauty pageants like queens, when it comes to the beauty pageant, because we have a standard like this. We need to reach up to that level, and maybe that's because when it comes to the beauty pageant too, like it's so big in the Philippines, like boxing and basketball. Basketball, I will gonna tell you folks, it's not because of LeBron, it's because Michael Jordan, man. Like my late mother said that all of this lot or land right now is a grassland. Back when I was young, and back at 1996 or 1995, I believe, basketball court, man, is all around everywhere, man. It's so, man, Michael Jordan, the impact of Michael Jordan, man. And boxing, man, Manny Pacquiao.
Even as late as the
That's why
1990s,
I think
the landmark Young Adult
the
Fertility and
beauty pageant
Sexuality
is
Survey
strong in the
revealed a
Philippines
staggering
because
80% of
maybe on
Filipino
that
youth
they're not
completely
the
disapproved of
Philippines
prenatal
are so competitive.
virginity was
As easy as that.
culturally policed as a
Even
gift
on MLBB,
or a
you know,
prize that a woman had to keep to
they are
themselves
so
on social
competitive.
life. Girls didn't approach men or promote themselves as happily single. Rather, they waited to be courted by the right guy.
Yeah,
It
harana.
was in fact the whole process
Oh yeah,
called
panliligaw.
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 Formal,
Okay.
chaperone, sometimes years-long ritual where
The
a man
legal,
pursuing a woman
the
would
legal,
visit
I
her
will gonna
family
take you
group,
in moment.
bring gifts, and slowly earn her parents' approval.
Yeah,
The girl would
what I
play
said
hard to
earlier,
get,
you know.
even if she was completely in love, because eagerness was seen as unbecoming. And the destination at the end of all of this was marriage,
Yep.
usually in her early 20s.
True.
And that's where
True,
it
sir.
is truly remarkable from a demographic standpoint. The population of the Philippines, which had set at roughly 1 to 1.5 million people across 7,000 islands when Spain arrived, began climbing. By 1800, it was approaching 2 million.
Oh, that's
By
good.
1900, it had reached 6.5 million.
See this, folks. It's kind of like you know, climbing, and climbing, but not so big. Like not a you know like climbing like for example 1 million to 100, 110 million, kind of like that. 1 million to 2 million, you know. And what I said that you know Philippines is doomed right now because that's a clip, and on that clip it's so hard to get up again, you know. Like literally you are climbing in the clip, man. Like if you're on the bottom, it's so hard to climb on the cliff, not a downhill. Downhill, kind of like a little bit. You can still climb, but on the cliff, if you fall, you doom.
By the early 1950s, the average Filipino woman was having over 7 children in her lifetime. The Catholic
My
faith
grandparents
that
are kind of
the
like,
Spanish had built
you're
over
joking,
3
right?
centuries had produced exactly the society it was designed to produce. By the time Spain was defeated by the United States in 1898 and handed the Philippines over to the Americans for $20 million,
Yeah, that's true.
roughly $750 million in today's
It's a
Catholicism
easy,
was already so
easy,
deeply rooted in the Philippines
easy
for
buyout.
333 years that no new government could dislodge it. The Philippines remains the largest Catholic country in Asia to this day. In that context, no boyfriend since birth was just what you were called while you waited.
Fuck these ads, man. I am concentrate right now, you know. I am literally on the lock right now.
So if everything was structured and conditioned for over 300 years for Filipinos to value children and big families, why did the birth rate start going down from its peak in the 1950s?
Oh,
Were there any
starts
specific
at
trigger
1950s.
events? Honestly, we couldn't find any. Rather, what was happening in the Philippines was actually part of a much broader global pattern.
Okay, so that's it. Okay. I get it now. So what happened is that you know, I think back at that time. So I was gonna say it's still applicable on my parents because you know, these people like there are. So the easiest thing to explain this is there's a Philippines, right? 7,700 islands back at my time, you know. And the center is Manila, right? Or Manila, you know. Metro Manila, you know. These folks all around the island, or I should say archipelago, I should say. Since the Manila is the biggest city, they think that Manila has the opportunity there when it comes to the money, economy, like that. That's why all of the folks invested all of their things to go to Manila, and since they on that box, they think that you know it's so hard to live here, it's so busy. That's why it's a start of you know not having a lot of babies, you know, because on the farm, on the province, like being said, I said that you know my grandparents I got like they have 10 siblings, you know. My mother has a 10 siblings. It's because they are living on the province, you know, and on the province you're not taking literally everything busy like as an urban or a civilized city, you know, you are living in the province, like go to the farm, like the other daughters or maybe the son will gonna um, take care of the other siblings, you know, like that, you know. That's why it's not so strict, or I should say hard or difficult to take a lot of big family on the province, while in you are in the city it's so hard to live there. That's why we have a four or maybe three you know, sons or siblings, you know.
Hey, it's called a demographic transition, and it simply means this. As countries develop economically, birth rates fall. Every time. It happened in Europe first, then in North America, then East Asia.
Yep,
And
Japan.
by the mid-20th century, it was starting
The
to
bubble,
happen
man, the
in
bubble.
Southeast Asia as well. But how does economic development make birth rates fall? The mechanics are actually pretty straightforward if you think about it. Back then, many children just died young from simple complications at birth, infections and disease. We're talking about pneumonia,
Oh, yeah.
malaria, diarrhea.
That being said,
and
there's no
severe
science.
So
It's still better than now. It's still better this day, you know.
Dying around you all the time. The rational response was to have as many children as possible. You have 10 babies and hope at least 5 or 6 make it. The change, of course.
That 10 baby is still living and kicking, man. Except for my mother, you know, my late mother, man.
And improved care at birth meant that most children now survive. And that naturally reduced the pressure on parents to have as many kids as possible. And also, in a farming economy, children are, for better words,
province.
assets. There was no such thing as child labor protection back then. Okay.
Yeah,
Children
true.
were an extra pair of hands,
Yeah,
working
true.
the land, bringing in income, and taking care of siblings at the same time while parents worked.
Okay, so this is my personal life, you know, and I'm gonna share this to you. Since in the Manila, it's so hard to live there. My parents, you know, like my decision, my parents' decision is you, me, Tenny, you go to the province, you live there. It's so hard to live here. You learn how to be a good boy there because they feel like I'm a bad influence, you know, like that, you know. And my second sibling too, you know, my ototo, you know, we both go to the province, and they think like that era, like when we are on the little, and their era is totally the same. They think like that, but yo, it's different, man. That's why on this panel, I literally do this thing. And if you are concerning what province is that, it's Bohol. Yep, I'm kind of like a Visayan in the heart, man. And we're doing like this. I'm farming. I'm planting, you know, a rice, you know, or I should say, everything like from this, like tubo. I forgot, sugar cane, right? We are planting this like literally like before, and I'm do fishing before even until this day. That's why, man. That's how I get. That's how I get everything, man. Like knowledge, everything, you know.
So having 7 or 8 children made complete economic sense. But the moment the Philippines began urbanizing from the 1950s, families started migrating into cities.
Yeah.
Mostly Manila, the capital of the Philippines.
Yeah, that's what I say,
and the
you
wider
know.
metropolitan area around the city called Metro Manila. Considering that at the beginning of the 20th century, more than 4/5 of the Philippine population was rural, the pace of the demographic shift was actually pretty crazy. Get this, according to a UN report, Metro Manila was attracting about 1 million new migrants every 5 years. And by the 1980s, the total urban population was growing at 5.14% annually. This was one of the highest urban growth rates in all of Asia at the time. That
Oh yeah,
meant
too.
more families
Well, Marcos
were crammed into smaller houses in the
era,
city.
you know. The senior
Children
one.
had to go to school instead of working the land, and the calculation just flipped completely. Now a child wasn't an extra source of income. A child meant a school fee, a uniform, a tuition
Yep.
bill. And
That's why my
divorce
parents said
isn't
that
space
you
for
go
it.
you
As a
go to
result,
the
families just made the
province.
logical decision to have fewer kids. By the mid-1970s, the birth rate had already dropped from over 7 to around 6 children per woman. To be fair, this was a gradual decline that was still well above the replacement rate of 2.1.
Oh yeah, that's
And
still
this
good,
decline
right?
was on par with other Southeast Asian countries like Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia going through similar urbanization. Nobody at the time thought it would start falling off a cliff the way it would accelerate a few decades later. Except something was slowly building under the surface. From our research, we can attribute the crash to a number of factors. Let's go through each one. The first factor is the absence of a divorce law.
Ah, yeah.
Divorce is completely illegal for the general Filipino population.
True.
Most people outside the Philippines, including myself, might not fully grasp how absolute this is.
Yeah.
In most countries, if your marriage falls apart, you go through a divorce process, right?
Dude,
It might be long, expensive, and emotionally draining.
here in Japan, it's literally so easy, man. Like for example, me and my wife, we have the contract like paper that we're gonna write everything like that, like your info, like you and my wife's info, you know, and also maybe some witnesses like my uh my little sister and her onisang or her older brother, like some witnesses like that. After that, you're married, you know. And when it comes to divorce, that being said, like that too, you know, like if you don't want, just write some letter. No, no coin required, you know, or no paper required. Like literally yen, you know. But yeah, on the Philippines, it's beyond hard because to me, I feel like as I said, the religion has a tight on that thing because when it comes to religion, they said that you know the wife and husband when they need to get well along for the eternity because if they kind of like in one with God, they kind of like they cannot separate it to the eternity. You know that's why the ring is on the ring finger. You know that's what I meant from that. You know that's why it's so hard to you know to dismember that thing because it's not only ties on the politics but it's also ties on the doctrines when it comes to the Catholicism, you know. That's why it's no legal divorce because people like to get married on the church, not on the juez or I should say law, you know. That's why it's so hard, man. And yep.
But at the end of it, you are legally single again. The marriage is finished.
And what's the ridiculous thing about that is, you know, sorry if I'm pausing again by the way. What is the ridiculous thing on that is because they're married at 20s, their mindset is not on that mindset yet. There's a thing like it doesn't like your wife or your I should say husband. You can't separate that one, you know. And sometimes the husband or the wife will gonna go MIA or missing in action. Like literally they were gonna leave the one like single mother or single father. That's what happens on my little brother and my little sister. Like they are all single parents, you know. That's why if you're gonna get married like for the age of I believe in the Manila like 16, 17, there's something like that happening. They are not on that mindset, you know. That's why they're gonna get separated, and man, everything goes to worse.
You can move on. You can remarry, for example. Well, in the Philippines, that process simply does not exist.
True.
There's no form to file. There's no judge who can grant you a divorce.
Yeah, because the Catholic or the church or the religion is so tight on that goddamn I should say rule. It becomes rule right now, you know. If there's gonna get a divorce paper that will gonna pass on the Senate, they will literally guarding that shit, man.
So what does that mean? You only have two legal options.
And we are paying that goddamn consequences, you know.
Is legal separation. you're legally allowed to live apart.
But you get
and
married.
stay legally married forever.
You get still married, you
The
know.
second option is what's called annulment.
This is
Annulment
on the
means
if you were
marriage
gonna
was
get
not valid to begin with
married
because your
on
spouse
the
either lied or defrauded you,
law, you know.
or there was some kind of legal defect
But in the
that
church,
should render the
you
marriage
can't do
void
this.
from the beginning.
You
By
can't
the
do
way,
this.
Good luck trying to prove annulment in court because you need a lawyer, a
Yeah.
psychologist evaluation,
Yeah.
and multiple court
You need
hearings.
a good
And
reason
it
to
could
get
potentially
annulled, you know.
cost you over $10,000 US.
Annulled.
The whole process also takes anywhere from 2 to 4 years. In a country where the average daily minimum wage in Manila is around $11 a day, yeah, even getting an annulment would be
Good
virtually
luck.
impossible. So that's it. 2 options. And if you cannot
Good luck for
afford
that.
annulment and don't qualify for legal separation, you simply stay married.
And I get married like 2023. Like I am on the 30s, you know. But my wife, we are been together like for almost like 13 years, and we just get married because you know we have a kid that's coming up on this world, you know. That's why we discussed that we should get married, and the of that is history, you know. But yeah, we take a lot of time if we will gonna be together, but we are not become like, for example, like the other kids like married like 18, 19, and after that they were gonna regret it until the very end. We are not that, you know.
It doesn't matter
My
whether
mind
your
is
spouse
so
cheated,
matured
physically
when
or
I am
emotionally
so
abused.
young, you know.
The government has no mechanism to release you from that marriage. None. So think about what the strict law actually incentivizes in practice. Most Filipino men in marriages that are falling apart just disappear. They walk out on their family and never return.
That's
What
it,
about
man.
enforcing child support payments? And remember,
Yo,
she's
the
legally
amount
married
of
to
single
him.
married,
So even if the
single
man
mother and
walks
single
out
father
never
on the
to
Philippines
return,
is
the wife
insane,
has
man.
no legal path to move on or marry someone else. The system unintentionally makes disappearing the path of least resistance for men who don't want to be there. As of 2024, there are over 15 million single parents in the Philippines.
Wow.
And 95% of them are mothers.
Yeah.
And a University of the Philippines study found that only 67% of young Filipinos were raised by both parents. That means 1 in 3 grew up without their father at home. And this problem of fatherlessness causes more damage to society than you think.
Oh yeah, true. That's true. Because you don't have that role I should say when it comes to the game, like that role, what the fuck is that? Role player, you know, like for example a tank to guide you like that, you know. They are the protectors of yours. They're the ones that teach you all of this to become better. They don't have that, you know. That's why when I and my wife discussed that if we were gonna you know, we were gonna send our kids back to the Philippines, I said it's hard to live in Japan, but I declined because they not gonna have that, you know, role parents or the real parents that will gonna get admired will if they will gonna grow. That's why even though it's so hard to live here, like literally now, today, I don't want that to happen, man. I want that my kid to be like the way that I want to be, you know. Not me, but I want to become me, and I want them to become happy, man. That's all I wish for, you know. I want their happiness if they get it, because this era right now of people is, man, so hard to live, man. Like literally, man. Like the men, there's a lot of burdens to men that people never ever knew, you know. Like you need to know that the suicidal rate right now on men is 60% than women, you know. That's why people never ever knew that if you are a man today, if you were gonna make a proper family, like a kid and a wife, it's a huge obligation, a burden, and a curse, and a blessing at the same time.
How? For girls, growing up under a single parent, in this case without a father,
The
means
ro-
growing up without a male
Yeah,
figure who
your
models
role.
what a reliable, committed partner looks like.
Yeah,
It means growing up without someone whose job it is to build your self-esteem and protect you from boys who don't have good intentions.
yeah. I hear that news now. Like there's a a gun like an incident on the Tacloban right now in the Philippines. Like there's a gun involved of a kid, 14-year-old kid, I think, on the Tacloban, and it kind of like kills 4 people, and there's a lot of bystanders that get injured too. That's a kid. I think there's no role or father or figure role on that family, or I should say a mother or parents, or if it is, it's not, they did not get the love that they have as a kid. If you were gonna ask me, that kid should be in jail right now, because even though it's a underage, what he do is bad. Like that's literally a like a genocidal thing right now. And if he will gonna get released, he will never ever knew that what he do is wrong. That's why that kid needs to be jailed. In my own perspective, I'm not gonna go to a political standpoint right now, but this is it. There's no parent figure on that kid. That's why that happens.
According to a University of the Philippines Population Institute study, not having been raised by both parents is directly linked to a higher likelihood of teenage pregnancy, lower self-esteem, and lower life satisfaction among Filipino youth. It's not a coincidence that the Philippines ranks second in Southeast Asia for teenage pregnancy.
Yeah, like I said, 16, 17 years old.
Girls aged 15 to 19.
Oh shit, it's 15 by the way.
become teenage
Here.
moms every single day. And when those girls tell the boy they're pregnant,
My little brother has a kid like at the age of 16, and my little sister has a daughter at the age of, I think, 16 too. Yeah, 15, 16. Yeah, he's right.
having learned from his own father,
I am admitting all of that.
men don't have to take responsibility. The boy disappears as well.
Yeah.
A vicious cycle.
On my on my siblings perspective, my daughter, or I should say my parents, or my mother or my father, doesn't, I think my daughter, I think my sister, sorry, my sister doesn't like her former husband. I should say not husband, because they're not married, but she doesn't like that, because he's kind of like there's blah blah blah. I will not gonna go to that level, or that deeper route. But being said, man, they separated, and my brother has a different case, because he is kind of like I am the OG, man, I am the rapper, like everything like that, and bam. You know what I mean? They think like it's cool, man, but man, I feel bad for the kids, man.
But wait, you might think, doesn't teenage pregnancy actually increase the birth rate?
No.
Not decrease it?
No.
Fair point. In the short term, yes. But think about what growing up in that environment actually does to a generation.
Yeah, we don't have role
They watch
parents,
their mother struggle financially after
Yeah,
their
true.
fathers disappear. A 2024 peer-reviewed study on fatherlessness confirms this further, finding that daughters who grew up without fathers report significant difficulties trusting men and maintaining open communication in relationships. So they grew up with life lessons that men are not to be trusted and that they don't need men. Worse yet, some might grow up resenting men altogether to the point they might not even want to get into a relationship with one.
That's true.
And if you don't believe me, even the teenage pregnancy rate itself is now declining. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority's National Demographic and Health Survey, teenage pregnancies among women aged 15 to 19 dropped from 8.6% in 2017 to 4.8% in 2025.
Oh, that's one heck,
Admittedly,
like
4.8%
literally a
is
decade,
way
man.
too high for teenage pregnancy, but the pattern is clear. girls are directly and indirectly impacted very negatively by the fatherlessness epidemic, thanks to the no divorce law. And this worldview that they don't need men is given the ultimate tool for women going their own way: education. Here's a stat that might surprise you. According to the 2022 PISA results, that's the global standardized test given to 15-year-olds across 81 countries, Filipino girls outnumber Filipino boys by 14 points in math and 35 points in reading. That reading gap alone is equivalent to nearly 2 years worth of schooling.
Oh yeah, that's true. Women are way better than male on education. On education. And I feel like this is bad, man. This is bad because when on my as a student back at that day, yeah, like the I should say on high school, even on college, like the magna cum laude, the summa cum laude, in like the valedictorian, the first honored student, they're all female, man. Like before, I'm not thinking like that, but now to think about it, man, he's right, man. Yo, by the way, I am so smart. I am so smart to the point that I'm sleeping on the class. And like, no, literally, yo, come on. Like, I'm so smart to think that I am sleeping on the class. I don't want to study, back at that time, But yeah, as a man, I'm thinking as a man around that time, I have a lot of opportunities if I'm thinking like this today, if I'm back at that time. But that being said, man, back at that time, man, I'm kind of like so, like, they, I feel like men back at that time, if you're a male, you're kind of like good on physical things like PE, like agriculture, because I'm living at the time at Bohol, and on the back, and when I go to the college, like I'm good on like for example, I'm singing, dancing, like etc., and not education, and what I feel like when it comes to the education, females are dominating than men. There's a man like so, like literally, like I should say I'm so autistic, like so well focused on the education. There's some, but man, most of the time it's female that dominating over men in the Philippines here.
Filipino boys are struggling significantly more. By the way, the Philippines now has
Yo, I have 1 hour on this one,
student performance of any country in Southeast Asia. And
Yo, we need to
every
finish this
single
one
year,
quick.
more Filipino women than men are graduating college. Filipino women have outnumbered men in college graduation for over a decade now. That gap is now wider than the global average. On virtually every educational
Oh shit, I still don't halfway, man.
Filipino men are falling behind. Look,
This is a good topic, by the way. That's why I'm pausing a lot.
For the purpose of this video, okay? I'm just giving you the facts. And the facts show that all that education led somewhere very specific, because timing could not have been more perfect. Just as Filipino women were outpacing men academically, the Philippines became one of the biggest beneficiaries of the global business outsourcing boom.
Okay! The outsourcing boom that he talks about is the OFW thing, right? Or more example, the kind of like the I am like as I work on the call center agent, like that, blah blah blah. That's it. And they thinks that man is so kind of like dumb,
The business process outsourcing
Here
or
we go.
BPO industry
Here we go.
started in the Philippines.
And I
in
think it's dying right now too
1993,
because of
and
the
first
AI, right?
was set up in Manila. By 2010, the Philippines had actually surpassed India as the world's BPO capital. We've actually done a whole
Wow.
deep dive on the BPO industry in the Philippines.
Oh, really?
So go check out that video after this one.
Okay, sir.
But for now,
I don't care
here's
if you
what
will
I
gonna
want to
copyright
say.
me on my
I
video,
think the majority
but
of those jobs,
I want to
Filipinos.
post this one.
According to government data,
Just let
women
it
make up around 55% of the entire BPO workforce.
let it this
The
like
most
see
educated
but
demographic
for
in the country.
to
Women
anyone.
are the
I don't care
fastest
if this is
growing
gonna
industry in
get
the country, earning their own
copyright,
money
you know.
without having to rely on men. But the BPO industry is only half the story, because at the same time, millions of other Filipino women were doing something even more dramatic with their education. They were leaving the Philippines.
Oh,
You
FW.
see, the Philippines has one of the largest populations of overseas workers in the world. In 2024, there were approximately 2.19 million overseas Filipinos.
Not banana is the export one. Not the mango is the export one. The most export one on the Philippines is themselves. Me, it's kind of like I kind of like that, but no at the same time because my descendant is a Japanese. That's why I go to Japan. Because Japan welcomes me. But that being said, yeah, our best product is ourselves, and it hurts to say, but yeah,
Workers. And of those, 57.2%
it pains me to hear this, all of this, all of this fuck.
working as nurses in the UK and the US, as domestic helpers and caregivers in Hong Kong and Singapore, leaving their families behind, sometimes for years at a time, sending money home every month. And all that money flowing back home changed who was in charge. Research confirms
Yeah,
a
demand.
growing
Demand.
phenomenon in the Filipino families. The house husband, men staying home managing the household while
Yo,
their
it's kinda
wives
like-
earn income from abroad. Female-headed households now represent roughly 1 in 4 Filipino families. The women, who were supposed to wait to be chosen by men for marriage, was now the one the whole family was depending on for money. So between the female BPO workers and the overseas workers, something fundamental had shifted. For the first time in their family's history, Filipino women had financial independence at scale. And that changed everything. How they saw themselves, what they expected from men, and whether they needed marriage at all. And perhaps most importantly, it may have changed what their Gen Z daughters grew up believing. If mom didn't need a man to survive, why would they, right?
You
The
cannot
birth
blame
rate exactly that.
politics here too.
By 2000, it
It's
had
about
jumped to
ourselves, man.
4.8. By 2013, it had fallen to 3.0. Still above average, but relatively gradual and manageable.
In a decade.
But then something happened. Something that would trigger a free fall, completely tanking the birth rate from 3.0 down to 1.7.
God damn.
Social media.
I like the transition that he do. Yeah.
This brings
This
us back
this
to
one,
emergence
the
of
Gunners,
NBS
the
people.
keyboard warriors,
Remember how I
the
said earlier that the
hentai
Star
lovers.
Internet meme
Where are you
was
all,
the
man?
early days of the
Where are
Philippine
you?
internet?
You are just all bark, man. You don't have bite, man.
The rise of social media completely changed that. By social media, I'm specifically referring to Facebook,
True.
Instagram, and TikTok.
Facebook is
By the
so
way,
big
did you know
in.
that Facebook is absolutely huge
Okay,
in
sir.
the Philippines.
Yep.
As of 2025, over 104 million Filipinos.
And I am
that's
inactive on
80%
Facebook, by the way.
of the
A lot of
entire
people commenting on
population
me
have a Facebook account.
and messaging me.
interestingly enough,
I'm
Gen Z
not-
Filipinos are just
I'm not
as active on
replying.
Facebook as older generations, which
I'm
is
not
surprising
replying.
because Facebook has a reputation everywhere else for being used mostly by old people these days.
Yeah, true.
Filipino women make up the majority of the user base. And on top of Facebook,
Yeah,
TikTok,
TikTok
has
too.
62 million users in the Philippines.
That's true.
With Filipinos spending on average over 40 hours a month on
And for example, when it comes to the doing a content, they're doing it on Facebook because I think around the time of, if you don't know Akosi Doggy, but at that time I kind of like I know his whole history when it comes on how he get the money. Before, he doesn't want to upload on Facebook because there's no money on that time as a gamer. But when the game kind of like booms on the Facebook, and you can earn money on Facebook too, every streamer when it comes to Filipinos are on Facebook. Me, I kind of like do this if I feel like I have to, but all of my videos are goes to YouTube, you know, not on Facebook. Before I posted on Facebook, but you know, if I were gonna post on everyone, like if I were gonna go like literally active, it would gonna hurt my, you know, my job here in the Japan, you know, like literally I am like sleeping like 1 hour or so, you know, every day, every day. That's why, man, I don't want just spare that 1 or 2 hours to me to sleep, man. And I'm gonna sleep a lot if I feel like, man, my body is on the limit, you know. Maybe that's why I'm so slim, you know.
The platform alone. Basically, the Philippines is one of the most socially connected countries on the entire planet, and regardless of the choice of platform.
So what's the catch
What you
here?
think is something that social media excels at? Algorithms, right?
Yeah,
To
true.
increase engagement, they just keep showing you more of what you want to see. And what
The
this does to
gooners!
millions of young Filipino women
The keyboard
is
warriors!
connect them.
The
Women who
hentais!
grew up without
It's here.
fathers, those who learned firsthand that men cannot always be relied on.
They all bark
Those who
without bite.
decided they don't need men
It's
to
here.
be financially independent and happy. Social media finds all of them and puts them in this.
I will gonna bet you 100%. Most of the women here on, I should say, TikTok, around their 40s, they will gonna become balloons, like literally shit, man, like balloons or something. Because yeah, maybe stress, or I should say bad habit of eating, you know. But yeah, they will gonna become balloons, man. Like just tag them that I said that to them, you know. But I am not you know, I am not that attract on women so easily. I will gonna I will gonna do all of my content, for example, on Wua, because man, 3D is better than 2D is better than 3D, you know. But yeah, I'm a gooner too, but I'm not going to this thing, you know. I do post before, but now
Same room. The comment sections fill up. The same girl energy starts spreading. And what had been a slightly shameful label all of a sudden started to feel like a cause to rally around as a community. Sure, you could argue that this is just an echo chamber, but the reality is social media didn't create any of the underlying societal conditions like fatherlessness. It just gave it a language, a community,
oh
and
yeah,
a global
true.
reference point. Speaking of global reference points,
The discussion,
Filipino
man.
women had no shortage of global content to draw from. The Western girl boss movement.
Yeah,
Western
this one?
influencers normalized
Western and
these
Korea.
35 or 40.
It goes to Western, Latin America, like for example the Marimar, the Fernando Jose, you know what I mean? It's so big in the Philippines before, and Koreans. So what's the three similarities on that is on how the role plays on that tree, like strong woman. Not only that, they want a good looking man, such as me, such me, by the way, and and you know, they loving it, you know, and they, it's kind of like it goes to the category that, you know, they want a good male looking, they want a good male looking educative one, a smart one, they want a good looking educative smart one, plus with a hard work. You will not gonna find it anywhere, man. It's kind of like a fictional character, you know, except for me.
The Korean 4B movement, you name it. All of it filtered into Filipino TikTok and blended with a local NBSB identity in a way that made the whole thing feel not just acceptable but genuinely aspirational.
By the way, my
And
wife
social
loves
media
Korean,
didn't just
man.
connect Filipino women to each other and to global trends. It gave them something even more powerful: new role models. In the absence of father figures or traditional role models, young Filipino girls could find plenty of them on social media. Influencers, content creators,
Yeah.
women building careers, traveling
Facebook and
around,
TikTok, man.
documenting financially independent lives. But here is where it gets distinctively Filipino.
They love vlogs, man. Philippines, man. Me, I don't like vlogs, man. You can say that this is a vlog, but it's more like a content reaction, you know. What I meant on vlog is, you know, going on your house, like documenting all of your life, all of the way whenever you go. I'm not doing that, man. I have a privacy, man. But if I want to tell you something, for example, when it comes to my wife or my kids, or what happened on society, on everything, you know, I'm telling you, but I'm not gonna show you, man. I want some privacy too, you know.
Do you know who else makes great role models for young Filipino girls that even their families would approve of? Filipino beauty queens, beauty pageant
Here we go.
winners. Now,
All
if
of
you're
this.
not familiar with Filipino culture,
Here we go.
the Philippines is the most peasant-obsessed country in the world.
We are so
and people
competitive, man.
Take it just as seriously.
Yeah.
Top contests like Miss Universe Philippines might as well be a national sporting event.
It's like
Like
the
a Super Bowl.
K-pop on in the
Miss
Korea,
Universe
you know.
watch parties are organized nationwide. Every detail is dissected on social media. For example, when the Philippines won Miss Universe in 2018 with Catriona Gray, this wasn't just a sporting victory. This was a cultural moment on the scale of a Manny Pacquiao knockout. Here's what matters for our story.
To
The old Filipino beauty queen archetype was
beauty
the
queen
Maria
or
Clara
beauty
woman
pageant,
wearing a crown,
boxing.
grace,
Before
modesty,
now it's dying, you
family
know.
values,
And
a beautiful
MLBB
woman who would make a good
and
wife. That was the template
basketball.
for decades. But somewhere along the way, the pageant itself started changing what it rewarded. Filipino queens were now expected to have career ambitions, opinions on global issues,
Yeah,
and
because
platforms
they
for
can like the beauty and wit,
independence
right?
and leadership. Now, to be clear, I'm not claiming beauty pageants are directly causing the NBSV.
Oh, me too. I'm not
I have
claiming
no
all of
research
this,
that
you know.
proves that.
But it's all of my
I'm just
perspective
making
in life, you know.
observation that maybe as a matter of correlation, the aspirational image that Filipino beauty queens now project lines up almost perfectly with the NBSB identity that's going viral on social media. If you're Filipino and watching this, I would genuinely love to know what you think about this correlation.
Okay, sir. Sir, by the way, salute to you. Because this is a huge topic to the community. Not just in the Philippines, but all over the world. Because when it comes to production of people, man, Philippines is, I think, number one. We are bragging on that. We are bragging that we're overpopulated. But here we are now. No. We are doing bad. We are doing worse. And it gets worse and worse, you know. And to me, it hurts to see or hear something like this. But like a father to a single mother or single parent couple, don't run. Don't run. We need to take this head on. Front, head on. We need to bump to that car bumper, you know. So don't run. If we were gonna take this seriously, we good. I think we good. You know. But for some people that never knew that this is happening right now to our I should say country, man, share this video, man.
The irony here is that even though beauty pageants are as mainstream as ever in the Philippines, traditional TV is giving way to YouTube and social media. So even pageant contestants and the organizations now have no choice but to build their personal brands online just to stay relevant.
And yeah. And do you know why the foreigners reacting to the Filipinos? Like frankly speaking, me, I do react on SB19, and why? Because back on the first take, I never ever knew that they are the Filipino band, you know, or I should say group, you know. I never ever knew. I'm so kind of like I'm so mind blown on that because they're on the first take on Japan first take, you know. That's why you can search it on my channel, you know. But yeah, why the foreigners are going to the Philippines is because of the goddamn algorithm, man. On Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, they are going to the Philippines because if they can feel that, like, they themselves, people are watching on them because of their content on their blogs. Go to the Philippines, walk to the Philippines, do that. If you're a black, if you're a white, do that in the street. 100k views, 200k views, 300k views. I'm not saying that all of the on the bloggers are using Filipinos as a scapegoat because they cannot do a proper content. But yeah, if Filipinos saw that you're a foreigner, they will gonna lick your toes, man. They will gonna lick your toes. But frankly speaking, man, no inscription required. But if you're kind of like a simple person, like doing like that blog, like something, it take you on years to go up as a content creator, man. If you don't have that originality, like everything, that's why I saw some people like I think that I saw to the social media, like they sell everything just to get videos and they got nothing. They're done, like still done. They're bankrupt. They're done. That's why. That's what I feel like. For example, NBA. I'm not watching NBA right now, but man, I saw a lot of comment section from the Philippines that watching NBA on reels that they don't even know the full play of the play. That's why when they're commenting it, they're just viewing the score and they feel like, oh, LeBron James does 26, 3 and 5 like that. But they never ever knew the play. They never ever knew how it goes well to the court. They never ever watched the court itself. That's why all around social media, Philippines are dominating.
This means Gen Z Filipino girls who might not have been influenced by these beauty queens because they don't watch TV are suddenly exposed to more and more of them on their feeds. And they can all see these contestants making massive sacrifices of their personal relationships and getting rewarded with fame, opportunities, and influence. Can you see how this creates a powerful visual for NBSP era girls? In a modernizing economy where Filipino women outpace Filipino men in education and urban jobs.
And the Philippine girls will gonna say like this to you, the hardest choice requires the what the fuck, man. The hardest choice requires the strongest wills.
These pageant stories become living proof that the math can work without rushing into traditional
man.
families.
Oh my
So
god,
at this
man.
point, I want to
Sorry for
encourage
laughing,
girls,
but man,
because the NBS
it's so
phenomenon
true.
is not as simple
It's so
as
true
Filipino
that,
women becoming girl bosses
like,
and staying single forever. In
the
fact, for a
the
lot
only
of
reaction that I can
NBSB is
do right
actually
now
a way of
is
signaling
slap,
they are high value and highly selective. Think about it. If you're a well-educated, financially independent Filipino, you still want to meet a good man.
Here we go, my topic, man. Fuck this ads, man.
It's just that you don't want just any guy. You want someone at least as successful as
Yeah.
you, if not more.
What I said,
In
the
field of evolution,
the
and
handsome,
biology,
the prince on the Disney, that's what they want.
hypergamy. Now, technically, hypergamy can apply to both sexes.
True.
But the research is overwhelmingly consistent on one point.
If the male wants the female one, it's bad. If the female one wants the one male, it's good.
It is
That's
predominantly
it.
a female tendency. A 45-country study with over 14,000 participants found that women, more than men, consistently prefer partners with higher financial prospects across every culture study. In other words, women tend to want to marry up, and they concentrate their romantic attention on the top tier of men. And the more educated Filipino women become, the more money they make. One could fairly argue that they naturally tend to gravitate towards the top 1%
Yeah,
of
it's so hard
women
to
who get
it's so hard
all
to
of women's attention.
It's so hard to search for that 1% of men. Good luck, woman.
Who are these top 1% men, and where
Yes,
does
sir.
this leave
Me.
Filipino
Me.
men who
Me.
have their own
But-
no
but I'm
girlfriends and
taken right
slight
now.
issues to deal with? This is where the dating gap becomes interesting, because we first have to take into account the fact
There's-
that social media
They are searching for a fictional 1% guy that looks so young, looks so handsome, looks so well rich, looks so hardworking in their minds.
and dating apps have truly globalized the dating market. What this means is that the dating options for Filipino women are no longer confined to local Filipino men. If they're going to go for the high status men who stand out,
Outside the
all they
Philippines.
have to do is open dating apps like Tinder, and suddenly they have access to wealthy Western men, successful expats,
With 80 years old of age.
and increasingly Korean men. I swear this is not because I'm Korean, okay? This is actually
Sir, you have a point. You have a point. You have a point. You have a point. That's why. That's why. That's why.
backed up by
Okay, I'm not gonna comment. I will not gonna make this video longer. but sir, you have a point.
Titled, "The Relationship of Filipino Young Adults' Level of Viewing of Romantic Korean Dramas and Prospective Partner Idealization."
Because of this goddamn
which
K-dramas,
found
you
a
know.
direct link between how much K-drama Filipino women watch and how high they set their standards for a romantic partner.
That's why my love loves me so much. You know.
Another separate Filipino research found that K-dramas have raised the bar for what Filipino women expect from partners to a level that, in the researchers' own words, now exceeds what Filipino men can possess. And while we're at it, it's also worth noting that the K-drama genre itself has evolved. Modern K-dramas increasingly feature strong
really?
independent female leads, with the male lead's entire role being to
Oh
support.
yeah, I think
an
they
already
got it on
complete
West, right?
Now, putting aside the fact that what these super good-looking and well-groomed Korean actors are doing in these dramas is a totally unrealistic portrayal of Korean men.
Yeah, it's fictional, man.
Guys like that don't even exist in real life, okay?
Sorry, sir.
It doesn't stop
But
playing
yeah,
into the
but
female
it's true. By the way, I'm not
fantasy
rich, you know.
aspect.
I'm not
And
rich,
once that
but I'm
standard,
hardworking, you know.
imaginary or not, is planted, real men get measured against it. And unfortunately, the men getting measured against it most directly are Filipino men.
Look at this people's faces, man. Do this not insult, but you know, you cannot make this, you know, as your you know, total dream guy like this, right? Like Filipino woman loves that 5'7" at least, good looking, white. They love that. That's it. If the category is older, even though you're not rich, even though you are not hardworking, you're good.
Earlier, we already referenced the data that the average Filipino man is increasingly becoming less educated and less professionally accomplished in
And that too, you know. By the way, on my work, I said that you, the Brazilian, you know, the Brazilian, you, if you're gonna go to the Philippines, you are starstruck out there, you know. You will gonna become a actor or something, you know. And I said the category why? Because you're good looking, you are tall, you are white. That's why if you go there, you have a lot of chicks there.
female counterparts. If
That's
that
true.
wasn't bad enough for young Filipino men that are falling behind,
I have a lot
before they
of,
even open
you
their
know,
mouths, they're
Brazil
capable of
friends, by the
raising
way.
deeply rooted
Or I should say
stereotypes
co-workers.
that Filipino men are irresponsible, unreliable, and destined to repeat
Oh, yeah.
what their fathers did. And even if they could overcome that and somehow
Now they
prove
became
themselves,
the you know, the
they
keyboard
now
warriors
have
right now, you know,
K-drama
the
an imaginary boyfriend and husband material. It's brutal. That's why the male equivalent of NBSB, no girlfriend since birth, is fundamentally different in nature. An average
I
young
see.
Filipino man, no matter how hard he tries, cannot find a date or get a girlfriend, let alone get married, because Filipino women have their sights set somewhere else. And by the way, this is not just a Filipino problem. This is a global crisis facing young men everywhere.
True.
In the United States, 6 in 10 men under 30 are currently
Because of that
single.
God
One in five
empowering
young
women, right?
American men report either not seeking relationships
But
or
cannot be helped
struggling to
because
find
that's society
partners
right now, you know.
unless you're in the top tier in terms of looks, wealth, or status. The general consensus among young men appears to be that if you're totally average, you won't even get a shot. Of course, the flip side of this is that the top 1% of men have endless options. And do you know how this actually backfires on well-intentioned?
I gotta tell you something, folks, you know. Back when I was young, like I think 20s, before I met my wife, I have a girlfriend on Germany, you know. I just say girlfriend because I'm always talking to her, you know. And back at the time, I don't feel myself like so like confident, so attractive, you know, back at that time. Back at that time too, my looks is like this, never ever change, you know. Even on my 15s or 16s, never ever change, you know. That's why they can remember me when it comes to the Philippines, you know. But that being said, I have a German girlfriend before, but yeah, I think she's something on me that she never ever thinks. That's why most of the people right now on the Philippines goes to the another countries too. They like to see if maybe this I like this, you know, this Filipino woman, they have a high standards when it comes to men. That's why these men right now go to the overseas. Maybe you were gonna show your real love out there, you know. That's why, man, before I'm kinda like that too, you know. But now I'm kinda like okay on what I get. I don't have regret, but it's all history.
But increasingly high-status Filipino women.
And
every
that
time
girl
they go
is
for high-status men,
literally
whether
pretty
they
man,
be
like
Western
blonde
expats
hair
or
man.
Korean men, they quickly find out that these men might only be willing to date them
I hope she's
casually
okay
without
right now, you know.
serious commitment. And it's entirely possible,
And she's doing
and
better.
true in many cases I've seen, that they could disappear after a few dates because again, they have options and they might not want to settle. Ironic, isn't it? Of course, I'm generalizing here, and I'm sure this is not how all high-status men behave. I met some really good guys with strong principles and values, and
Yeah.
I would like to think I'm one of them. But I've also seen clear patterns. High-status men simply don't have the same incentive to settle as everyone else does.
Dude,
The point is, the more casual hookups and situationships Filipino
if woman goes to this like disco or bars or something, you should know that you are engaging a bad people or bad men. Like if there's a good people here, it's one in a million, you know, like a hole in a needle, you know. That's you're not gonna find this that folks that you know and good well educated men on these bars on these discos, you know.
and experience with these high status men, the more they get jaded by men in general, including the genuinely good local guys that they were never willing to give a chance to begin with. And as you can imagine, this only widens the gap between Filipino men and women, pushing more Filipinas deeper into the NBSP identity, almost as a defense mechanism, while pushing more Filipino men into the involuntary NGSP category.
Involuntary.
So
Well,
what
I
does
want.
all this
I love
mean?
how he do his
It
wordings there, you know.
means the birth
So
rate of
articulate, man.
1.7 will almost certainly drop further and faster.
True, true.
And here's why that's bad news for the Philippine economy.
Because they're
It drops all the way down to Japan.
okay. Okay, here we go. His point.
In practice, a 1.2 birth rate hits the Philippines far harder economically than it hits Japan.
Because Philippines are the third world country and Japan is a first world country. Period.
And the reason comes down to what economists call the aging before becoming rich problem.
Oh, okay. He has
Countries like
another
Japan
point.
started getting older and having fewer children after they had already become wealthy.
Okay, it's still the
Per
same.
capita
Still the
income
same.
was
Still the
already
same.
pretty high by the time its birth rate crashed. That meant Japan could still afford to build massive pension systems, elder care infrastructure, and healthcare systems. it had the money to at least attempt to manage the consequences. The Philippines is doing the opposite. Its population is aging and
True.
its birth rate is crashing
True.
before it has built a wealth cushion.
True.
The average daily minimum wage in Manila is still around $11.
Bad.
There's no universal pension system that covers most workers.
Pag-ibig is
And
done.
by 2030, just 4 years away, the Philippines crosses the threshold where elderly dependents start becoming a significant burden on the working age population.
Not only that, the older people in the Philippines doesn't have the the pension that has here in Japan. Like if you have a older Japanese man here, they have all pensions, because we are paying tax like literally every day, That's why if I will gonna get old here, I have the backing of the city hall and the government, That's why I can have a lot of money if I have retired, But in the Philippines, no pension system. They don't have even a residence card or a green card on the Philippines. That's why Philippines is in the inevitable to doom, And it's happening like literally right now, Maybe some people will not gonna feel that, but maybe on the 2030, we can literally feel it,
So the nightmare scenario is fewer young Filipinos working to support more elderly dependents in a country that never built a system to handle that transition. And to make matters worse, the very industry that gave a generation of young Filipinos their financial footing is now under threat. According to the International Labor Organization, 89% of BPO jobs face a higher risk of
Here we go.
automation from AI.
We doom.
The entry-level call center jobs that handed millions of young Filipino women
Bye
their
call
first
centers,
Those are exactly the job AI is coming for first.
Yeah.
So what happens to an entire generation of
In
young
Japan,
Filipinos
they're doing
when
AI,
the foundation they built
on
their adult
the
lives
calls.
on starts to disappear? And what does that mean for a birth rate that's already in free fall? Honestly, there are no easy answers here. The Philippine government is already taking some steps. For example, they launched an upskilling program in January 2026 to retrain BPO workers for higher skilled AI-proof roles.
Oh,
The single
good luck on
policy
that.
change
Good
that
luck.
can make
Good
the
luck on
biggest
that, yo.
difference to the marriage rate and by extension the birth rate is the divorce bill. That's right, finally making divorce legal. The bill passed the House in 2024, but
Still
remains
not,
stuck in the
still
Senate
not helping,
despite
man.
powerful opposition from the Catholic Church. But if
It's hard,
passed,
but it's not
then
helping,
people
man.
could get legally divorced.
It's too late.
I don't know. Men might actually be more willing to formally commit if they knew there was a legal exit ramp. Women might be less terrified to enter marriage if they knew they would end up as single parents should men just run away.
It's still hard, because it's kind of like it implants to our minds that this is what it is. When it comes to the Filipinos, folks, sir, if it will get implant like this is what it is, let it be like this, That's why I get to the point that there's a divorce bill right now. Maybe some educated people will gonna think about that because it happens like everything like before. For example, sir, on the celebrities, it happens like they will gonna jump to one woman to another, and the people it's kind of like fine, we're fine, But to the normal people, it's kind of like if we're gonna marry this guy or this gal or this girl right here, it's on the rest of my life for both of us, we're gonna be a partner for all times, That's why when it comes to that divorce thing, I think it's too late. It's too late because all of this like this information implants to ourselves, and when it comes to the update, it's hard to update these people that this is happening right now. Almost today, like there's no TV in the Philippines. I think right now, no one watching TVs right now because they're all focusing on their phones. It's hard. That's why I make this content just to inform everyone on the Philippines that this is happening to the Philippines, man. And I think I'm doing it right. And sir, thanks to you because you're doing it right. We are all informed. Thanks to you. I appreciate your research all of these facts or information that you gave to me, and I'm gonna share it too to everyone. You
The
know,
hard
that's
truth
why
is, though,
comment
there is no
and
magic
subscribe
fix.
to me and to
No
this
government
to
can
Asian
will
Boss
likely
because
undo
it
decades
helps
of
a lot. You know.
fatherlessness epidemic and young men of the Philippines
Ah,
checking
shit,
out of
man,
the
this is
system
bad.
and being left behind. Maybe the most important thing is, and this is relevant for all the gender conflict taking place all over the world right now, reminding ourselves that this isn't really about giving more power to women over men or vice versa. In the end, we're all on the same team, and if one side falls, we all fall together.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
True.
found this video insightful and
I'm gonna cut you, sir, because I took so long. You know, I took so long on your video, like 2 hours. Holy shit, 2 hours. Yo, I'm 2 hours yapping here. I never ever start my bulak was. Sir, thank you for giving us a lot of information, a lot of facts when it comes to my country, Philippines, man. And I want to post this like literally now, but maybe I will gonna do this later. I will gonna edit. Oh no, I will gonna post it like literally 2 hours, you know, on my video. And thank you, and I hope that all of the people from the Philippines watch this video, watch my video, watch all of this facts. Not, I can tell that there's a Filipino here, you know. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, man. That being said, man, it's so hard to. It's too late right now, you know, because it implants, or it's on our mind that we're doing like this. Let it die like this, you know. That's the Filipino way. That's the Pinoy pride on that, you know. They don't want. They don't want. They feel like they're doomed. If they doom, unlike Japan, they're doomed. Like that being said, Japan is going downhill, but Philippines falls on the cliff. Subscribe to my channel. Comment, like. I know your comment is not good too, but please bear with me. I don't know what to say, man, because I feel like I feel like they all giving up to this narrative, but it's still not over. Even though there's a chance of literally so slim, but we need to share this video, share this information, share this fact to everyone so that they are well informed, and after that we discuss. You know, we discuss. That's it, you know. That's all we need to do. And I should say that these people right here, like, they have a negative thoughts on their minds right now for me, but we need to do this personally, you know. We need to be better, not like, you know, like just take comfort on the government, not stay comfort on what we are not doing right now. We need to get better, not doing like you know, the as a parent too, you know, you need to do better. You need to do everything like we need to do better, like what I'm doing right now on my family, you know. I have house, I have car, but all of that, it's because of hard work, yo. You know, what's being called like that, like like no, what the fuck is that term, you know? No, like no rich boy like that, father figure like that, you know. No, nothing. No, this is Japan. It's kind of like easy if you have a work hard. But that being said, man, if you don't work hard, even on when it comes to you are little and you don't have that dream to become with, you're not gonna get over on that, you know. It's a huge hump. There's a what if that you will gonna fail, you will gonna succeed, but you will never ever gonna know if you will gonna try, yo. That's why right now, see this, it's kind of like a inspirational one. 1.8 subscribers, man. It's so little, man, compared to the Asian boss, to a lot of Filipinos that you watch. But that being said, I'm not giving up on YouTube. If I can feel like I can upload, I will gotta do this all, you know. And folks, bear with me. We can do this all. Share this to everyone so that they will gonna get well informed. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Asian Boss because he helped us provide for a lot of information and research when it comes to the Philippines. Babusyo. Ciao.